And good afternoon, everybody. This is Dr. John Michael Salvato. You are watching Inner Alchemy, a program that we bring to you once a week as part of our Mind Shift program. And in Inner Alchemy, we talk about making a mind shift at a deeper level, a metaphysical mind shift, if you will, a mind shift of a deeper knowing. And so as we begin today, we begin with just me. I'm afraid that I might be the only one in this program that understands that 12 noon means 12 noon and not 12:05 and 12:10 and whenever you feel like getting here. That really and truly, if you want to maximize your results, you show optimal respect for time and optimal respect for one another by showing up on time, because it is disruptive, even if in the smallest way, to show up 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes after, unless something unforeseen came up and you had to be gone. But when that consistently happens, it's just a lack of respect for yourself and for the program. So we ask that if you are somebody who habitually gets in here late, please consider the impact that has on others. I have to stop and I have to mute your microphone and I have to move the camera back to me, because if you're moving around the entire time we're on camera, then Hangouts won't work properly. Then I have to manually move the camera from person to person to person, because your camera is always going to disrupt the system. So let's or same thing with your microphone. If it's real noisy where you are, come into the room and mute your microphone right off the bat. If you are not using headsets, you're creating disruption, because then there's feedback. So it's always better to have a headset on, no matter how uncomfortable or annoying they might be. I really don't like having headsets on myself, but I want to make sure you guys have a good experience. So I figured probably the best place to bring that up would be on a metaphysical focus, because I know that at a deeper level, each one of us cares about everybody in this group, appreciates this group, and honors this group. And so these aren't things we're doing disrespectfully, willfully. They're things that are just a lack of mindfulness, and we could bring greater awareness to how our lack of accountability plays into the picture. Let's fix that. There we go. So let's talk a little bit today about our focus. There's this powerful spiritual practice that's a very simple spiritual practice, which allows us to generate a greater amount of love and happiness, peace, ease, grace, and joy in our lives. And while it's simple, it's not always easy. We're talking about gratitude and mindfulness, or mindful gratitude, as I like to call it. When we're younger, or when we're spiritually less mature, we have this idea that gratitude means just to say thank you, to show our appreciation for something, or to return someone's kindness that they've done to us or for us. And that's not really the same thing as mindfully cultivating gratitude. This mindful gratitude, this more mature gratitude, comes from a place that's at once both simpler and more complex. It's one of those things that it's really hard it's an intangible. You can't really put a handle on it. It's an unconditional expression of trust that that everything we have is equally precious. Those things that we label as good, those things that we label as bad, those things that seem to be awesome, and those things which seem to be an obstacle. And so we begin to cultivate this sense of completeness, this sense of true unconditional gratitude, because we are deeply receptive and open to the experiences that are happening in our lives. We recognize that we take 100% responsibility for those experiences. We recognize that all of those experiences are here to edify, to lift up, and to build us, to bring us closer to our realization, to bring us closer to our personal goals, and bring us closer to an awareness and understanding of the fact that the things that we're experiencing are reflections back to us. They're opportunities for which we should be deeply grateful. Now, there is a saying, I have to pull it up in a minute, and I may not be able to see it on the little screen here, so I might have to pull it up on I'll just put my glasses on. There's a quote from a book that Dr. Ernest Holmes wrote, and I believe that he wrote the book with either with Stuart Grayson or with another New Thought author. The book is called Richer Living, a proven therapy for success through right thinking. And this is, I love that Dr. Holmes, Ernest Holmes, calls gratitude bestowing the essence of love upon everything. I just think that for me, I've got that on my gratitude notebook that's on the first page, because I just think that when we recognize that what gratitude is bestowing the essence of love upon everything, it changes our less mature idea of gratitude, of just saying thank you for the nice things that were done for us. And so Dr. Holmes writes, the desire that everything I think shall be from the heart as well as from the head. In the desire that everything I think shall be from the heart and from the head, I wish to release kindness and love, sympathy and understanding, peace and joy. No condemnation, judgment, or fear shall go forth from me to anyone or anything. Today I bestow the essence of love upon everything. Everyone shall be lovely to me. My soul meets the soul of the universe in everyone. Nothing is ugly. Everything is beautiful. Everything is meaningful. This love is a healing power, touching everything into wholeness, healing the wounds of experience with its divine balm. I know this love essence, this very substance of life, this creative principle back of everything flows through my whole being, spiritual, emotional, mental, and physical. It flows in transcendent loveliness in my world of thoughts and form, ever renewing, vitalizing, and bringing joy and harmony and blessing to everyone and everything it touches. Now, talk about a powerful spiritual mind treatment. Our practice of spiritual mind treatment actually derives from the teachings of Dr. Holmes, and from the way in which Dr. Holmes understood how to speak his word into truth. So, and that you and I can do the same thing. But I thought that description of gratitude was so powerful, so poignant. I felt like as I was reading that and preparing for today, that there wasn't a need to spend a lot of time talking, but more of a need to spend a lot of time simply being with this idea that nothing that I see, no one that I reach is going to be ugly today, or harsh, or other. That this, I know, hold on, that's the emergency line, and if you'll give me 1 second just so I can see if it truly is an emergency. That's the hospice. Okay. All right. So it's an opportunity for us to bring mindful gratitude, not just that simple, oh, I'm really happy, I'm really grateful for what you bring me. I'm really happy that you were kind to me, and so I'm going to be kind to you. It's not quid pro quo. True gratitude, mindful gratitude, comes from a much deeper place, and it's a deeper place that says that I am grateful for everything. I am grateful for the things that seem to be horrible, for the things that seem to be painful, for the things that seem to be difficult in my life, because those become the steps upon which I build my future. Think about it. Think about the things that you absolutely love. Would you want to have to step on those things or those people or those experiences in order to get to the next level in your life? Of course not. And so the world, the universe, gives us obstacles, because the obstacles we can step on and avoid stepping on those things that we love. We can step upon those obstacles to get to that next level higher. We can reach down and give a hand up to those that we're leaving behind. And for those who decide that they're not ready to take that next step, we can be grateful that they're on a spiritual journey themselves. They're on a precious journey, and that we don't need to interrupt or interfere or coerce them. And so this sense of gratitude is something that was very, very profound for me this week. It was something that it was in the forefront of my mind as I journaled, because I started to see, as will happen if we give ourselves enough time and space and we get out of the emotions of the drama, what I like to call the histrionics of negative experiences. So we all know that negative experiences happened in my life 4 weeks ago. We all know that those negative experiences will manifest if left unaddressed. If I ignored them, like so many people do, they would be manifest in things like evictions and medication that couldn't get paid for, and where's the food in the refrigerator, whatever those things might be. But when we allow ourselves to detach from that emotion, to say, you know what, stop labeling good or bad. It's an experience that happened. Money that was owed to you wasn't paid to you. I don't know the other person's mind, so I have no idea what their agenda really was, nor do I care what their agenda really was. It was simply an experience, and it was a learning experience, and therefore it was not a bad experience. It was a good experience. And the experience of having zero cash, that was a good experience. I have to believe that there is a reason for experiencing every one of those things in our lives. Now, in the moment, it doesn't feel like it. It can get stressful. It has certainly taken a toll on my health. I do not feel well today. I'm feeling, just really exhausted and tired and run down. And I know that in and of itself is going to be a blessing, because it's not going to put me in bed. Taking a nap yesterday didn't work. This certainly isn't going to work. But it's going to cause me to go from sitting here at the computer to there's a big cushy armchair that sits right next to my desk, super overstuffed and gigantic. And I'm going to sit in that chair and just spend some quiet time. And that most of the work that I'll do the rest of the day today will be from that chair. And it'll be very gentle work. Fridays are a short day for me. I'm done by 3 o'clock anyway. But at 3 o'clock today, I made a decision that I was going to do a special, a special broadcast. Part of this mindful gratefulness or mindful gratitude is what I call. I'm going to start doing Pay It Forward Fridays. And on Fridays, because I look in the business world, and most of us that have come to this program came here because we want to see improvement in our business lives, not just our personal lives. Or we want to see improvement in our health in our business, our health and financial fitness. And so I said, you know what? I have really got to be about giving back, because some tremendous things happened this week that showed me, that demonstrated to me in a celebratory way, that right action is always taking place in my life, that these things will resolve themselves. See, when you don't have food in your refrigerator, you have a choice. You can either choose to be hungry, or you can get creative and say, let's visit some friends. Let's go see this one tonight for dinner and that one tomorrow for dinner. And then you're eating once a day. So the food in your refrigerator has no impact on how you live your life. Same thing with when you're facing eviction. All that does is just free up the energy that was being held back for you to think even bigger than you've ever thought, to do some real possibility thinking. So there's lots of people out there who don't know how to do that. On Pay It Forward Fridays, I want to teach people a simple process that they can use. It's not going to be get rich quick, but there's that social network and power that was started to help people who are financially disenfranchised, and they have an entire process in place. And I talked at great length with some of them last night. That in 90 days, a person can have a couple $100 in their hands, with which they can start a business, a small business, a home business, a network marketing business, any kind of business like that. But within a year, they could have their first payout of literally tens of thousands of dollars. There was a woman in Asia who is on this social network, who had no real superstar marketing skills. She had nothing really major to bring to the market, but she knew how to use social networking to communicate with people, and she knew how to build relationships. And it's been a year for her of following this system, and she's gotten her first $1 million payout, $1.2 million. So there's a plan in place, and the company is paying. A lot of people were getting frustrated because they didn't understand how the payout works, how your income, how your earnings mature, but then your earnings pay for your advertising, they pay for the platform, they pay for all of the things that you want to have working for you so that your message continues to get amplified in the marketplace, and you draw out the little bit of profit that comes in, just like any other business. So I want to teach people how to do this, because that social network doesn't cost them a penny. It doesn't cost them anything out of pocket. So there are so many people that are out there today who don't feel a sense of gratitude because they feel like, look, there's opportunities out there. I want to grab them. I want to work them. I'm willing to put in the hours, but I don't have the extra $100 or $200 to get started. Well, I'm going to teach them how to get their hands on that money. So whatever that program is that they're passionate about, they can go after that. I want to teach them they can start being grateful today, and that gratitude will transform their lives. So Sandy, anything, it's just you and me today, kiddo. Anything you want to add to the conversation?
Well, I was enjoying listening to Ernest Holmes. I gave my favorite book of his to someone one day, and I haven't had one around for a while. So thank you for sharing that. And I have great respect for everything that he has written. You know, I think at some point, and you teach this all the time, we have to, instead of talking about being loving, we have to be love. And we can just give it a lot of lip service and say, oh, yeah, well, today I'm going to be a very loving person. And then you go about your business and someone gives you a snotty attitude. And all of a sudden, your first inclination is, well, I'll just respond to that in a snotty manner. And then you think, well, no, wait a minute. Just move on. Move on. Never mind the snotty attitude that you know you can give right back. But instead, just move on. And that to me is the act of feeling love, because I could have made that go on and it could have got into a pissing match, and I thought, nah, just drop it. So I did. I dropped it, and then I felt better about myself for doing that. And sometimes I think it's good to ask other people, like you said, when you get in trouble with a situation. Often, if you have the courage, and sometimes it takes courage when you first start to do it, but ask other people to help you with something, because quite often you'll find that the people that you want in your circle are going to be those people who know how to appreciate other loving people around them. And so they're going to be more than willing to help you. I made a couple of notes here when you were talking. Oh, I learned this a long time ago. When you have tough situations, instead of seeing the tough situation, and you alluded to this, you have to see the right solution in your mind. Because when you start to see the right positive solution in your mind, then that absolutely frees up that negative part of your subconscious, and it will override it. And all of a sudden, things will start to either right themselves, or you will find another path, another avenue, and go a different direction. I liked what you said about mindful gratitude. Say thank you to people when they do something nice for you. Open the door for someone. It's the littlest things, a smile. Sometimes you might not think a simple smile to someone would make any difference, but maybe it would. Um, you said something that I maybe would like for you to talk about a little bit more sometime. Business to me and my personal life go hand in hand. I can't have love in one and not have love in the other. So I think if you are a loving person and a person who feels full of gratitude and you're grateful for everything that you have, then that multiplies. And the only other note I made is possibility thinking is a learned process by simply being mindful. I don't think possibility thinking is natural, not in today's society so much. So you have to be mindful and conscious to always be aware of things to be grateful for, and show that gratitude by giving to others. And as long as you're giving without expectations, it's going to come back to you tenfold. That's about it.
I agree. Thank you. And I would suggest that mindful thinking actually is natural. It's natural from the time we're little children. What we learn is non-mindful thinking. So what you have to learn is non-mindful thinking, and you're taught that probably from the fourth grade on. And so becoming mindful again is simply returning to who you are, and that is you are pure awareness, and that's why mindfulness is natural, because you're pure awareness, and that means that we have to set aside what we were taught and return back to that simplicity of being aware of the possibilities that are always around us. They've never, from the, well, we stopped thinking possibility thinking when we were in fourth grade, but the possibilities were still there, and they are still there today. And so all it is a decision that you make. It's a mindful decision, because we practice mindfulness in our daily lives and we don't really always know it. But you make a mindful decision that you're going to become more aware of the possibilities around you, and that's done. And then it's just a practice. Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense, and thank you for clarifying that. You always have the insight of the true guru that you are, and so sometimes you're right. We change. We are born with that innate within us, and then we can be in family situations, maybe not be a fast learner, maybe that's bullied somewhere along the line, and that starts to pull us back. So thank you. That was
Even
that was
school.
that was
Yeah.
great.
Even school teaches us to let go of mindful thinking. Little Johnny wants to be an astronaut. Little Susie wants to be the president. And then at some point in time, school starts telling us you don't have the grades to be an astronaut. You should maybe think about becoming a mechanic and working with your hands. Those are learned. Those negative responses, those limiting responses, are learned responses. But when we recognize, and that's what so much of this program is about, is coming to realize that we are pure awareness. There are a lot of people out there in the New Thought movement who cringe when they hear me say, "Today I'm not feeling well." Oh, don't say that. You're manifesting illness. No, I'm not manifesting illness. Get a grip. What I'm doing is I'm acknowledging how I feel. And by acknowledging how I feel, I can let go of how I feel. I'm feeling a little tired. I'm feeling a little run down. And when I experience feelings, to me, mature spirituality, and Dr. Holmes certainly understood this. Stuart Grayson certainly understood this. Louise Hay certainly understands this. Mature spiritual practice is recognizing those feelings when they arise and saying, what do these feelings tell me? Where are they coming from? If I'm feeling run down, what have I been doing physically that was maybe pushing it too much? Have I been staying up till 3 o'clock in the morning, as normal every day, but then getting up at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning with Craig because I have a feeling of wanting to see him before he goes to school? And the answer is yes. So there's multiple answers to that, solutions to that. One great one is that his next semester, his first class is at noon, so we could stay up a little bit later at night. But there's going to have to be give and take. There's going to have to be compromise. Just as I'm doing the housework and I'm doing the cleaning and I'm doing the things that he would normally do so that he could focus on his studies, I also have to say, let's course correct my schedule for 11 weeks. And in those 11 weeks, let me maybe go to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning, or maybe 2 o'clock in the morning, and let me get up right before you leave for school. And then we get to say hello. I get to bless you and wish you well on your way. And I also get to experience that magical thing that everybody seems to think is so incredible, called morning. And I'll tell you truthfully, it was fun yesterday. Now today I can't. I've got mobility issues at the moment. I couldn't walk along the riverfront. But yesterday morning at 7 o'clock to walk around the riverfront, there's nobody down there. I always assumed that that's when all the crazy morning people were out. And so I thought, oh, it's better that I go in the afternoon. There's only, a dozen or so people on the riverfront. Well, there's nobody there at 7 o'clock because most of the people that have to get up early are going to work. So that was a delightful walk along the riverfront, and it was nice and cool, and it was refreshing, and I got so much done between 8 o'clock in the morning and the time that the show happened that it just was absolutely mind-boggling for me. This morning, not so much. This morning, I've spent more of my time in meditation and trying to bring my awareness and focus to getting my muscles and joints to work, getting my twitching to stop, so that I can talk with my hands a little more freely without having to hold one hand down onto the desk. Um, so it's been a challenge, and that's what this mindful gratefulness, this mindful gratitude is all about. As Sandy said, we don't draw, we might draw a line between our business life and our personal life, but I want you to think of the busy executive who's kind of an asshole at work. He's the rah, 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 rah kind of executive at work. That's the very same person who, when they come home, may not be as kind and loving to their wives, may not be as attentive to his kids, might be kind of self-centered and need to unwind and sit down in his chair and just brood for a little while. That's spiritual immaturity and personal immaturity. The person who by contrast has and I can speak to this exactly, because having met both Steve Jobs and Bill Gates on a couple occasions, there's a person who was or two people who were so intensely involved in the creative process in their work. They had much more pressure than the grumbling guy from Wall Street, or the real estate mogul, or whoever else comes home grumbling because of what a tough day they had. But they were so engaged and had such fun with their employees. They created a work culture that was unlike traditional work culture, so that it felt relaxing at times, and it was invigorating, and it was stimulating, so that when they came home, that stimulation, that interaction, that love came with them, and they could sit down with their spouses and their guests, if it was for dinner one night, and say, hey, these are the things that are going on, and they would share transparently what their concerns were, what the stresses were. This is going to be a big nightmare. I'm not so sure what the solution is to that. But there was always an openness that, hey, if you have an idea, speak up and share that idea. And so their whole lives became lives of engagement. And that really, having met the two of them, was another turning point for me. That really inspired me to become all about not just cultivating relationships, but cultivating conversations. I began to use the expression, the emerging conversation, because we never know, by cultivating these relationships, when that conversation is going to bring something of tremendous value to us. So I don't discount any conversation. I could be meeting somebody, a great example was that recently I met somebody that I didn't know personally before, but we had some tangential connections with other people, and that conversation really began to turn into kind of a connection, a friendship. And the next thing I know, I found out that person was connected with two people that I really wanted to work with, that I really wanted to partner with on some sort of project, that they were doing something that I had helped create the prototype for, and doing it very well. And it was an amazing connection, because I didn't just connect now with this person, but he was able to get me deeper connected with these other two people, and I'm having a blast. I can just say that I'm part of a creative process and a creative team that's going to accomplish great things, that is accomplishing great things already. So when those times come that you try to bring mindfulness to gratitude, recognize, and this is what I want to leave you with, that once you cultivate mindfulness will then begin to express in every aspect of your life. And so the deeper our mindfulness practice, the more we recognize our emotions when they arise. And so we might feel initially like, I'm getting angrier more. No, you're not getting angrier more. You're getting aware of your anger. If you really looked at it, you're probably also going to be aware that your anger only lasts seconds, where it might have lasted minutes, or maybe it lasts minutes where it used to last hours. And then you learn to become more mindful of the need to be transparent, the need to be honest, the need to express where you're at. And so I'll never play the new thought guru who will never. I refuse to tell people that I don't feel well. If I don't feel well, I don't feel well. Chances are pretty good that by this afternoon I'll feel very well. You know, and that's the thing that some people say, oh, well, then he must be faking it when he doesn't feel well. I certainly wish that were the case. You know, that I don't understand why you'd want to fake it that you don't feel good, but I certainly wish that were the case, because how awesome would that be? How much more would I get accomplished? But the simple fact is, I understand that when you see somebody and they tell you they don't feel well, when they tell you that they're in excruciating pain right this minute, and they look at my face and say, he's smiling, his face looks soft and glows. How could that be that he's in excruciating pain? When I'm in excruciating pain, I want to throw things. Here's a newsflash. I want to throw things too. The only difference is I have gratitude for this stuff around me, and I don't have anything I'm really willing to break. So I'm not going to throw things. But when we express, when we speak those things that we feel, we can let go of the feeling. Yes, there's pain. Yes, there's discomfort and muscle stiffness and twitchiness. But those things are all impermanent, and they will pass. And I'll move through the experience of pain. They will not cause me to suffer. All the pain in the world can't cause me to suffer. It can just cause me pain. Similarly, all of the wonderful things in the world won't ever make me happy, because my happiness is who I am, not what's done to me, not what I experience. And so when we bring this experience of mindful gratitude into the world, it's being grateful not just for the wonderful things that happen. That's being thankful. Gratitude and thankfulness are completely different. When someone does something nice for you, say thank you, because you're thankful. When somebody is kind to you, say thank you and be kind back. That's being thankful. Gratitude comes from that deepest place in yourself that says that the source of all things is not only within me, but is me, expressing itself as me, through me, and all around me. And therefore, I am grateful for everything, for every atom, every cell all around me. It's the reason why, unpopularly, I could not choose to be a vegetarian. Now, I could choose not to eat very much meat because and make that as a health decision. But I can't buy into the story, the ethic or myth that being a vegetarian was somehow more mindful and more kind because you weren't killing animals and eating dead animals. And here's why. When you begin to practice mindful gratitude, and that gratitude expands every day, then you look at that ear of corn and you recognize that there are living organisms that were killed on that corn, that there were bugs in the field that were killed, that there are organisms on the corn now, that the glass of water you drink, even when it's spring water, has thousands of organisms in it. And so that there is nothing I can eat or drink, no air that I can breathe in which I am not unhappily doing harm to organisms. And so my response is that I give gratitude for every breath that I take. I am grateful for every food, every drop of sustenance that goes into my mouth. Every grain that I eat has had countless organisms living in it and on it. And not only living in it and on it, but let's remember the hands that picked it, the families whose lives were affected as that backbreaking work was done. And so nothing you're going to eat is going to be without sacrifices made for you. So that should be why that a simple act of grace is not enough at your meals. That every time you take a bite, you just say, I am so grateful for this. I'm grateful for the experience, for the sensation, for the taste. I'm grateful for the sustenance. I'm grateful for the lives that were dedicated to ensuring that I was fed. Because in this precious lifetime, and if you believe in incarnation, in this precious incarnation, I have the opportunity to wake up for the benefit of myself and for the benefit of all sentient beings. That, my friends, is the Bodhisattva path. To recognize that in this precious lifetime, we have an unsurpassed opportunity. There's never been as great an opportunity today as there has been for you right now. There's never been as great an opportunity in the past for anyone else to experience spiritual awakening, and to do so so that you benefit not only yourself, but all sentient beings. And so for that, we bring mindful gratitude to every experience, to every breath, to everything we do. And so I was going to do a spiritual mind treatment to close us out, but I'm going to use Dr. Holmes' passage from that book because it follows the context of how a spiritual mind treatment is done. And I want you guys to just close your eyes now as I read it a second time, as I get my glasses on. So just close your eyes and give yourself a second. I desire that everything I think shall be from the heart as well as from the head. I wish to release kindness and love, sympathy and understanding, peace and joy. No condemnation, judgment, or fear shall go from me to anyone or anything. Today I bestow the essence of love upon everything. Everyone shall be lovely to me. My soul meets the soul of the universe in everyone. Nothing and no one is ugly. Everything is beautiful. Everything is meaningful. This love is a healing power touching everything into wholeness, healing the wounds of experience with its divine balm. I know this love essence, the very substance of life, the creative principle back of everything, flows through my whole being, spiritual, emotional, mental, and physical. It flows in transcendent loveliness in my world of thoughts and form, ever renewing, vitalizing, and bringing joy and harmony and blessings to everything and everyone it touches. And so I release this word into law, knowing that it goes forth into the universe and returns to me abundantly multiplied to do its good and perfect work in my life and in the lives of others. And so it is. Guys, thank you for spending your time with us. That book, by the way, for those who enjoyed it, will be linked on the blog. So if you would like to get a copy of that book, it's one of those definite must-haves on your reading list. Then just go ahead and go over to the blog at barefootmillionairemastermind.com/blueprint. And if you're watching this program and you would like to become part of this community that gets together on a daily basis to talk about mindset, to talk about our 6 dimensions of wellness and personal development, then we encourage you to go there, barefootmillionairemastermind.com/blueprint. And for as little as $1 a day, you can become part of our group mentoring program. For as little as $3 a day, you can get personal one-on-one mentoring. We would love to help you in any way that we can. And for those who might be struggling financially, who might be looking for a way to put a couple $100 extra in your pocket a month without spending any money whatsoever, who are looking for a way to increase your bank account and maybe create a seed fund so that 1 year from now you could ostensibly have $500,000 accrued that you can cash out when it matures in 365 days. Then make plans to be with us at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I think this is something that everyone can benefit from, but especially those who truly are looking for a way to support themselves, to supplement their income, or to create money for their financial future, but who just don't have the seed money right now to get started. I'm going to share with you a nothing short of brilliant approach that we helped put together and discovered that was sitting right in front of us. That's already helped 5 people to be able to position themselves so that in September they can start their own, or October they can start their own businesses. I'm pretty excited about that because these are 3 people who, with 3 different passions, 3 different business ideas that are now going to be added to our economy because we were able to help them get their hands on a couple $100 extra. So that's going to be at 3 o'clock Eastern time. I will be posting on social media about that. Join us then. And if not, join us on Monday when we have a special guest coming with us on Monday. This Monday, we will be talking about, actually, it's me this Monday. Next Monday is a special guest. This coming Monday, we're going to talk about sales strategies at 8 o'clock Eastern time. But we will have a short Monday afternoon mind shift before that to kind of lead us into our new week. Meanwhile, have a fantastic weekend. Stay in the moment and be grateful. Bring your mindfulness to everything that you have now. Be grateful for that. Because if we can't be grateful for what we have, there's no point in wanting anything more. And always remember, my friends, the best is yet to come. I love and appreciate you all. Take care, Sandy.